So, dear students, good morning once again. So, the introduction part was done yesterday, but still I would like to repeat again. The chapter, The Ailing Planet, the Green Movement's Role, it is written by Nani Palkhiwala. This is an article written by Nani Palkhiwala, which was published in the newspaper, that is the Indian Express, on 24th November 1994. The issues that he raised regarding the declining health of the earth continue to have relevance. Still, relevance means we see the same problem existing till now. Still, those problems are faced by the mankind, people, and also the Mother Earth. The title here, The Ailing Planet, the Suffering Planet. So which planet is here? Which is the planet that we are discussing? It is the Mother Earth. So this article, The Ailing Planet, the Green Movement's Role, was written by Nani Palkhiwala and published in the newspaper, The Indian Express. It raises vital issues regarding the degrading environment, the deteriorating environment of the planet, and the immediate need to promote sustainable development. Sustainable word means that provides support. So the word sustainable development means talking about the usage of the resources that are on this earth in such a way that the future generation, they are not harmed with that. Something is left for the future generation, coming generation. The resources that should not be exhausted. So it has become the burning issue of the day. Despite the conscientious efforts of the environmentalists and the rapid awareness towards the green movement, the success story of this Mother Earth, repleting the earth, is still bleak. The success story, it is not much. The planet is heading towards a catastrophic depletion, a tragic end because of the activities done by humankind. And the immediate need is felt to promote the concept of sustainable development. And this concept, it was popularized in the year 1987 by the World Commission on Environment and Development, which said that the development that meets the need of the present without compromising the ability of the future generation to meet their demands, meet their needs. This is sustainable development. So we will read the chapter and understand that what the author is trying to convey through this chapter. How we humankind can play a major role in saving the Mother Earth. Why saving the Mother Earth? Because not only the existence of humankind, the mankind is in danger, the existence of Mother Earth is also in danger. And that is why the theme that is actually promoted through this chapter is that moderation is a value to inculcate. Observing the reasonable limits, this virtue needs to be inculcated by the mankind. We need to understand the responsibility. We cannot just shirk our responsibilities. We cannot run away from the responsibility. Saving Mother Earth is every individual's responsibility. So we need to inculcate the virtue of moderation, moderation, which means we need to observe reasonable limits. We need to understand that we should not cross our limits. So let us start the reading of the chapter, The Ailing Planet, the Green Movement's Role. One cannot recall any movement in world history which has gripped the imagination of the entire human race so completely and so rapidly as the Green Movement, which started nearly 25 years ago. So in the very beginning lines of the chapter, the author introduces the concept of green movement that brought a drastic change in the mindset of the people. So the author says that one cannot recall any movement of such kind which was started in the year 1972. And it was the Green Movement started 25 years ago. 25 years ago means when this article was written, that is 24th November 1994. From that days, if you go back 25 years back, that means such a long distance, the years that has been covered. And if you see the scenario in the current picture, we see that not much change has occurred still now. But the author is quite hopeful. And he says that it has gripped the imagination of entire human race. Gripped means controlled, brought the attention of the entire human race towards one concept of green movement, which promoted saving Mother Earth, which promoted the understanding the responsibilities and working as a caretaker towards Mother Earth. So in the year 1972, the world's first nationwide Green Party was founded in New Zealand. Since then, the movement has not looked back. So it was the year 1972 when this concept was brought in front of the people. And after that, this movement has never looked back. It has always gained the momentum. इसने अपनी रफ्तार ही पकड़ी है. इसने फिर पीछे मुड़कर नहीं देखा. It has never slowed down. So this movement, it has gathered momentum ever since this concept was brought in front of the people. People started to think in a new dimension. And thus the author says, we have shifted, one hopes, irrevocably from the mechanistic view to a holistic and ecological view of the world. We have shifted from what kind of view? Mechanistic view. Mechanistic view means taking earth just to be a machine. Now see what happens when you are operating a machine. Suppose you are just putting into it some raw material and you are getting after processing the output, the final material. The earth is not a machine like that. And thus, the author says that after the introduction of this green movement, a shift have been observed from the mechanistic to a holistic and ecological view. Holistic refers to complete, and ecological, it refers to the flora and the fauna on the earth, related to the plants and every living creature on the earth, even the microorganisms found on this earth. So, referring to the ecological point of view, we see that there has been a great shift in the mindset of the people. And one hopes means people hope irrevocably. That means this shift, it will never be reversed back. Unchangeably, that cannot be shifted to this previous view of taking the earth to be a machine. So this revolution, the green movement, successfully brought change, a great shift in the mindset of the people. And thus, the human perception, it has undergone a revolutionary change. So the author says, it is a shift in human perceptions as revolutionary as that yes, as that introduced by Copernicus, who taught mankind in the 16th century that the Earth and other planets revolved round the sun. So here the author, he gives an example and he talks about Copernicus. He was a scientist and astronomer who brought this thing in front of the mankind, that how Earth and other planets revolved around the sun. And it was a major revolution at that time, because previously people used to think that sun used to revolve around the earth. लोग ये सोचा करते थे कि सूरज घूमता है, but ये जो धरती जो परिक्रमा करती है, it revolves around the sun and other planets too. This concept was brought in front of the people by this scientist Copernicus. So same kind of revolution was brought in the human perception, change in the human attitude. Perception क्या होती है? किसी चीज को समझना, उसे देखना और अपने नजरिए को प्रस्तुत करना. So there was a great change in the human perception. A shift was brought where people had stopped taking into account Earth as a machine. They also started considering Earth to be a living being. So, for the first time in human history, there is a growing worldwide consciousness that the earth itself is a living organism, an enormous being of which we are parts. So it was the first time in the history, human history, that this consciousness was seen and in the people, that how people started to take earth as a living being, a living organism, and how the perception changed, that it has its own metabolic needs and vital processes which need to be respected and preserved. मेटाबॉलिक नीड्स जो बायो के स्टूडेंट्स है वो बेहतर जान पाएंगे. ये कहते हैं जब हम बात करते हैं जो केमिकल चेंजेस होती है एक लिविंग ऑर्गेनिज्म, लिविंग बीइंग के अंदर, the chemical changes which are brought to use the food, the intake of the food, and the energy is produced by the body. So ये जो consumption of food है and then utilization है, ये इसके बारे में है. सो द मेटाबॉलिक नीड्स को समझा कि इस धरती की भी अपनी जरूरतें हैं, इसके भी वाइटल प्रोसेसेस हैं, इंपॉर्टेंट प्रोसेसेस हैं, एंड वी नीड टू रिस्पेक्ट एंड प्रिजर्व द मदर अर्थ. और ये जो चेंज है लोगों ने महसूस किया. दे अंडरस्टूड कि वो जिस डाली पर बैठे हैं वो उसी को काट रहे हैं. So a shift was there. People started respecting the metabolic needs of Mother Earth, the vital changes, the processes which were needed to be preserved. People started working towards it. The Earth's vital signs reveal a patient in declining health. An author also introduces the fact that Earth's all the important signs, there were various signs which tells the people that how Earth is also just like a patient whose health is declining day by day. अगर आप धरती के vital signs को देखो, the global warming, the pollution level, and other things, the different causes of earthquakes, the tsunamis. When we see all these things, we see that yes, somewhere the earth is also like a sick patient whose health is deteriorating day by day. And thus the author says that it is not that we have just turned a blind eye towards this problem. We have begun to realize our ethical obligation. Ethical obligation means the moral duty, the moral responsibility that we have, which is to be good stewards of planet and responsible trustees of the legacy to future generation. And thus, Nani Palkiwala, he says that it is not that we are not aware of the problem and we are not looking for the solution. We have begun to realize हमारी जो moral duty है इस धरती के प्रति कि हमें एक steward की तरह काम करना है. Steward means caretaker. केयरटेकर का क्या काम होता है? देखभाल करना. सो हमने अपनी इस जो एथिकल रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है, इस मॉरल रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है, वी हैव अंडरस्टूड इट दैट वी हैव टू बी द केयरटेकर ऑफ दिस प्लैनेट and become responsible trustees of the legacy to future generation. जो हमारी हेरिटेज है इस धरती पर, वो धरोहर है, उसे हमें अपनी आने वाली जनरेशंस के लिए भी संभालना है. हमें एक ट्रस्टी की तरह एक्ट करना है so that we don't compromise with the needs of the future generation. And in this regard, the author, he talks about the concept of sustainable development. The concept of sustainable development was popularized in 1987 by the World Commission on Environment and Development. In its report, It defined the idea as development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generation to meet their needs. That is, without stripping the natural world of resources future generations would need. Now, जो planet Earth has different resources, both renewable and non-renewable. And non-renewable resources are actually depleting from the earth day by day. The rate at which we are consuming these resources, we are harming the mother earth. And nothing would be left for the future generation if we don't understand our limits. So that's why we need to adopt the concept of sustainable development that provides support to the progress. Development चाहिए, but not at the cost of the future generation. हमने अपनी आने वाली जो जनरेशन है उसके लिए भी तो कुछ बचा के रखना है. जिस तरह से पॉपुलेशन बढ़ रही है, जिस तरह से प्रेशर इज क्रिएटेड ऑन द मदर अर्थ, वी नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड एंड एक्ट रिस्पॉन्सिबली. And a very amazing fact is shared by the author here. He says, in the zoo at Lusaka, Zambia, there is a cage where the notice reads, the world's most dangerous animal. Inside the cage, there is no animal, but a mirror where you see yourself. Yes, dear students, in Lusaka, Zambia, there is a cage in the zoo. And in that cage, you will not find any animal there. But this notation could be found there, the world's most dangerous animal. Why? A mirror is placed there. So when you look into the mirror, you see your reflection and you read this notation, the world's most dangerous animal. Rightly said by the author. हम humans जो हैं सबसे बड़े दुश्मन है इस धरती के. We are the dangerous animal. You know, there is a person, I think his name is Sadhguru. He also said that if the humans, they just become extinct from this Mother Earth, the Mother Earth would be safe. इस धरती से अगर हम इंसान खत्म हो जाएं, धरती में बहुत बड़ा बदलाव आ जाएगा. जानवर कभी भी नुकसान नहीं पहुंचाते हैं, और उन जानवरों में से ये जो ह्यूमंस हैं, they are the world's most dangerous animal, because we are not only harming the others, we are harming Mother Earth, and we have also created a threat to the existence of other living species on this earth. हमारी वजह से जो अदर स्पीशीज हैं उनका भी जो एग्जिस्टेंस है वो खतरे में आ चुका है. और इस वजह से हमें अपनी नैतिक जिम्मेदारी को समझने की जरूरत है. Thanks to the efforts of a number of agencies in different countries, a new awareness has now dawned upon the most dangerous animal in the world. And the author thanks those people who are involved in the process of creating awareness in the mankind. Those people, those NGOs, those environmentalists, those who are continuously involved in creating awareness among people, that we need to understand that we are not the sole owner of this Mother Earth. We are not the only one on this Mother Earth. We share this earth with other animals also. And thus, he has realized the wisdom of shifting from a system based on domination to one based on partnership. So we have realized this fact that we are not the sole owner on this Mother Earth, of this Mother Earth. We share this earth with thousands, lakhs of species. And thus, our existence is that, a relationship is that of partnership. So we need to understand that why we are creating a threat to the other animals existing, which are in coexistence with us. And thus, the author also shares a data here. He says that scientists have cataloged about 1.4 million living species with which mankind shares the earth. Catalog means listed. Those living species who have been identified and have been listed. The count is 1.4 million. And see, this number, it was given in the year 1994. So we share this earth with 1.4 million other different kinds of living species. Estimates vary. Obviously, ये जो estimate है, ये rough estimate है, ये vary कर सकता है widely as regard the still uncatalogued living species. Biologists reckon that about 3 to 100 million other living species still languish, unnamed in ignominious darkness. Languish means how they are living in a very degraded environment, how their survival is at risk. To reckon means to estimate, to calculate. And ignominious darkness means a disgraceful existence, because there are still 3 to 100 million other living species which are still not being identified and listed. They are still uncatalogued, they are not listed. We are unable to identify them, recognize them, but still they exist, but their existence is at risk. They are living in an ignominious darkness, a disgraceful existence is there, and their life is at risk. One of the early international commission which dealt inter alia with the question of ecology and environment was the Branded Commission, which had a distinguished Indian as one of its member, Mr. L.K. Jha. So, the author here talks about some ecologists and environmentalists that they created a branded commission, and an Indian was also included in that. His name was Mr. L.K. Jha. He made a report and he commented. So the first branded report raised the question, are we to leave our successors a scorched planet of advancing deserts, impoverished landscapes, and ailing environment? So this commission, they did a research. They observed the different signs showing that the earth has become a patient now. How they recognized that the condition of the earth was degrading day by day. And thus a report was presented making a question to the mankind that what are we going to do? What are we going to leave to our successors, to the coming generation? Just a scorched planet जहां पर सिर्फ डेजर्ट्स हैं, और impoverished landscape means जहां पर लैंडस्केप इनफर्टाइल होते जा रहे हैं, पुअर होते जा रहे हैं, वीक होते जा रहे हैं, या फिर एक सफरिंग एनवायरनमेंट. See the level of pollution that is increasing day by day. See the way arable lands are being converted into infertile land. धरती जो है उसकी उपज की जो क्षमता है वो खत्म हो रही है. The way we are using fertilizers, the way we are using pesticides, the way we are creating pollution, we are destroying the existence of our Mother Earth. The existence is at risk now. So हम क्या कर रहे हैं? What are we doing? What are we going to leave for the coming generation? And a big question is raised by this branded commission. So he gives a thought to the readers that we should think upon, ponder upon this kind of situation. And it is not that we cannot contribute towards saving Mother Earth. We can successfully play our roles, but we are not paying attention to our roles that we need to play. So we need to understand this responsibility, and we should move towards making efforts saving the Mother Earth. Yes. So in this context, the author also introduces another environmentalist. His name is Mr. Lester R. Brown. Mr. Lester R. Brown, in his thoughtful book, The Global Economic Prospect, points out that the Earth's principal biological systems are four: fisheries, forests, grasslands, and croplands. And they form the foundation of global economic system. So Mr. Lester R. Brown, he divides the earth on the basis of these 4 biological systems. He says that the earth is divided in these 4 biological systems. One is fisheries, the other one is forest, then the grasslands, and then cropland. And they are the foundation of this global economic system. Economics, commerce के student इसको बेहतर समझ पाएंगे, because these 4 basic biological systems, they not only provide, they actually provide the raw material for the industries. So he says, in addition to supplying our food, these 4 systems provide virtually all the raw materials for industry except minerals and petroleum derived synthetics. So, in addition to providing food to us, these 4 biological systems, the fisheries, forest, grassland, and cropland, they become the, you can say, the source of raw material for the industries, leaving minerals and petroleum derived synthetics aside. So just imagine the situation, student, that with the increasing population, how much pressure is on Mother Earth. The way we are consuming all these 4 biological systems, fisheries, forest, grassland, and cropland. Imagine the situation with the rising population, how much burden is there on the Mother Earth. In large areas of the world, human claims on these systems are reaching an unsustainable level, a point where their productivity is being impaired. So the author says that if you see it in the broader perspective, this human claim, the pressure of this population is actually reaching unsustainable level, and it has harmed the productivity of this Mother Earth. कैसे हार्म हुआ है? फिशरीज, जो इतना प्रेशर है कि क्लोज्ड सीजन में भी फिशिंग बंद नहीं हो रही है. क्लोज सीजन वो होती है जहां पर जो प्रोडक्टिविटी साइकिल होता है फिशेस का वो चलता है. सो क्लोज सीजन में ज्यादातर एक प्रिंसिपल है दैट फिशिंग नहीं होती है, लेकिन इतना बर्डन है दैट क्लोज सीजन्स में भी अब फिशिंग कंटिन्यू की जाती है. ग्रासलैंड्स जो है बर्बाद हो रहे हैं. क्रॉपलैंड्स जो है उन पर इतना एक्सेसिव यूज ऑफ फर्टिलाइजर्स है, पेस्टिसाइड्स है, दैट इट इज डिस्ट्रॉइंग द फर्टिलिटी ऑफ द लैंड, एंड दस इट इज एक्चुअली इम्पेयरिंग द प्रोडक्टिविटी ऑल्सो. जो हार्वेस्ट है उस पर भी असर हो रहा है. एंड देन टॉकिंग अबाउट द फॉरेस्ट, the rate, the speed at which the forest is disappearing from Mother Earth, it's really alarming. ये एक खतरे की घंटी है जिसे हमें समझने की जरूरत है. The urbanization, the development has actually caused a threat to these biological systems. So the author says, when this happens, fisheries collapse, forests disappear, grasslands are converted into barren wastelands, and croplands deteriorate. तो जब अनसस्टेनेबल लेवल को हम रीच करते हैं तब क्या हो जाता है? फिशरीज पर बहुत बड़ा असर होता है, वो कोलैप्स होने लगती है, डिस्ट्रॉय होने लगती हैं, फॉरेस्ट खत्म हो रहे हैं, ग्रासलैंड्स बैरन वेस्टलैंड में कन्वर्ट हो रहे हैं, और ये जो क्रॉपलैंड्स हैं उनकी जो फर्टिलिटी है वो खत्म हो रही है. In a protein conscious and protein hungry world, overfishing is common every day. In poor countries, local forests are being decimated. Decimated means destroyed, depleted, in order to procure firewood for cooking. जहां पर फॉरेस्ट लार्ज स्केल पर इंडस्ट्रियलाइजेशन के लिए खत्म हो रहे हैं, लोकल लेवल पे भी लकड़ी के लिए, आग जलाने के लिए, खाना पकाने के लिए लकड़ियों को पेड़ों को काटा जाता है, और इस वजह से लोकल फॉरेस्ट भी खतरे में है. In some places, firewood has become so expensive that what goes under the pot now costs more than what goes inside it. क्या कहने का मतलब है कि जो खाना पक रहा है उससे भी ज्यादा महंगी चीजें होती जा रही हैं, व्हाट गोज अंडर द पॉट. आप देखिए एलपीजी सिलेंडर्स कितने महंगे होते जा रहे हैं. सो इस तरह से जो क्या है, इन्फ्लेशन होता है, महंगाई बढ़ रही है, एंड द बर्डन ऑफ द पॉपुलेशन, इट इज एक्चुअली पुटिंग burden on the productivity of Mother Earth, the existence of Mother Earth. Since the tropical forest is, in the words of Dr. Myers, the powerhouse of evolution, several species of life face extinction as a result of its destruction. Powerhouse of evolution means the powerhouse of growth and development. तरक्की की बात करें तो ये जो ट्रॉपिकल फॉरेस्ट है उसमें बहुत बड़ा रोल होता है इन फॉरेस्ट का. And when the forests are depleted, they are destroyed, it also causes a threat to the species of life. जो other animals हैं, living species हैं, those who live in these forests, they are also facing extinction. Many species have become extinct and some are on the verge of extinction. So it is the need of the hour that we should understand our responsibilities and start playing the role as a stewards, as a caretaker towards the Mother Earth, so that we can save the planet on which we depend. So dear students, I'm going to stop here today. We will continue the session in the next session, the next time when we meet, okay?
Can I end the meeting?